Sean Strickland has just been suspended, and the story behind it is absolutely insane. We're talking about one of the most controversial fighters in MMA storming into a cage, throwing bare-knuckle punches, almost getting arrested, and now being forced into anger management classes. Add in Rampage Jackson laughing off of Du Plessis' rematch with Khamzat, Nate Diaz calling Chimaev a scared child, John Jones and Daniel Cormier reigniting their rivalry, and even a heartwarming story between Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier. And you've got one of the wildest weeks in MMA history. So buckle up, because we're going to break down every single one of these stories in detail, starting with the headline that's got the fight world buzzing.
So after the fight, you guys see me corner guys that lose all the time. And I'm the first one to shake their hand, raise their hand, and I wish them well on to the next one. But after the fight, this guy comes up to me and calls me by name, Strickland. Calls me a bitch, tells me he's gonna f me up.
Sean Strickland suspended. When it comes to chaos, Sean Strickland has always been front and center. But this time, the Nevada State Athletic Commission decided enough was enough. After reviewing footage of Strickland storming the cage and throwing punches at an amateur event earlier this year, they've officially suspended him for 6 months. Along with the suspension comes a $5,000 fine plus legal fees, and the possibility of mandatory anger management classes. Now, 6 months may not sound like much, but for a fighter at the top of his division, it's a massive setback. That's half a year of lost momentum, half a year of missed opportunities, and half a year where other contenders can leapfrog him in the ranking. And remember, Strickland isn't just anyone. He's been one of the most unpredictable, outspoken, and polarizing figures in the UFC. That's part of what makes this suspension so impactful.
Strickland got suspended. Sean comes in the ring and wastes absolutely no time in punching him. Getting hit by Sean Strickland is a very dangerous proposition as it is, but a no-gloved. They decided to not arrest him, but that was on the table. But it was Luis Hernandez who came out, who, by the way, happens to be a police officer.
That's not just a timeout. It's a hit to his career and his reputation. So what actually happened? Let's rewind back to June. Strickland was cornering his teammate at a Tough Enough event. The fight didn't go their way, and when his teammate lost, the opponent began taunting Strickland and Chris Curtis from inside the cage. That's when things spiraled out of control. Strickland, known for his short fuse, stormed into the cage. No hesitation, no warning, and started throwing bare-knuckle punches at the victorious fighter. The crowd erupted in chaos. Officials rushed in, teammates tried to pull him back, and in seconds, what was supposed to be a small amateur fight turned into a viral spectacle. Clips of the brawl lit up social media, sparking endless debates.
Sean Strickland's suspension has been announced. 6 months from the Nevada State Athletic Commission for storming into the cage and attacking his teammate's opponent after his teammate lost at Tough Enough a few months ago. He can return to the cage on December 29th. That's when the 6 months are up because it's a retroactive suspension.
Was Strickland standing up for his teammate, or was he completely out of line? Either way, the damage was done. The Nevada Commission launched a full review, and Strickland's unpredictable reputation grew even more notorious. But here's the twist most people didn't expect. The fighter Strickland attacked wasn't just some random opponent. It was Luis Hernandez, who also happens to be a police officer. After the incident, Hernandez revealed that officials immediately asked him a crucial question. Did he want to press charges? Imagine the scene for a second. Sean Strickland, already one of the most controversial figures in the UFC, standing there on the brink of being cuffed and arrested in front of the crowd. Hernandez's answer changed everything. He said simply, "Of course not." That decision spared Strickland from criminal charges.
I don't tell anybody to do anything. I don't try to control any other human beings in any way, shape, or form. They do it this way. I say it all the time, we're in the fight business, and if you get your feelings hurt that bad, you probably shouldn't ask the type of questions.
And what could have been a legal nightmare. But while Hernandez chose not to escalate the situation, the commission wasn't about to let it slide. They made it clear whether or not the police were involved. Strickland's behavior was unacceptable. And that's when the suspension hammer came down. The suspension itself is damaging enough. But for Strickland, the real blow is to his reputation and career momentum. 6 months away means losing fights, losing paychecks, and losing the spotlight. Fighters in the middleweight division aren't slowing down. New contenders are rising, title pictures are shifting, and Strickland is forced to sit on the sidelines while it all unfolds. Even worse, the narrative around him is shifting. Before, fans saw him as outspoken, wild, and unpredictable in a way that made him entertaining.
When you know the answer you're going to get from Strickland.
You are the definition of weakness. Everything that is wrong with the world is because of you.
But now, the word unprofessional is being thrown around more than ever. And yes, there is a loophole. Strickland can complete an anger management course to reduce the suspension to 4.5 months. But let's be honest, the damage is already done. The fines, the headlines, the label of being too unpredictable to control, it all sticks. For a fighter who thrives on chaos, being forced into silence might be the harshest punishment of all. But while Strickland was dealing with punishment, another legend of the sport was busy stirring controversy of his own. Rampage Jackson, never shy to speak his mind, weighed in on Dricus Du Plessis, calling for a rematch with Khamzat Chimaev.
Khamzat versus DDP, all thing I gotta say is, DDP, I'm not impressed with your performance. You know, he got outclassed, you know. I'm not gonna talk bad about DDP. I never met the man, but as a fan, I watched it as a fan. As a fan, you know, Khamzat made DDP look like he was an amateur. I'm sorry.
Rampage's response, pure dismissal. He flat out laughed at the idea. According to Rampage, didn't just lose. He was completely dominated. He said there was no reason at all to even consider a rematch, and that Du Plessis wasn't in the same league as Khamzat. Rampage even suggested Dricus might want to think about changing divisions because as far as he's concerned, the gap between them is just that wide. Fans were split. Some agreed with Rampage, pointing out how one-sided the fight was. Others thought he was being too harsh on a fighter who, let's not forget, was champion not long ago. But either way, Rampage's words hit hard. Backing him up was none other than TJ Dillashaw, the former bantamweight champion. Dillashaw praised Chimaev's performance, saying his cardio was insane and that his pace over 5 rounds was something special.
DDP versus Khamzat Chimaev.
I didn't watch it live. I watched it the day after because I was at the Sprouts convention. And when I saw that it was a 5-round, insanely unanimous decision, he was like, let's go, right? Like, everyone thought the only way he was going to win was by finishing him. He went out there and just put on an absolute clinic.
He admitted he expected the fight to be harder for Khamzat, but instead, Chimaev made it look almost easy. From the relentless takedowns to the suffocating ground control. In Dillashaw's eyes, the skill gap was massive, and a rematch didn't make sense. And this is where I want to bring you in. Do you agree with Rampage and Dillashaw that this has no business asking for a rematch right now? Or do you think he's earned the chance to run it back? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be checking them out. Meanwhile, the UFC made a move that stunned a lot of fans, cutting Bryan Battle from the roster. Battle isn't just another name. He won the Ultimate Fighter back in 2021, built a solid 7-1 record in the UFC, and seemed like a fighter with a long future ahead. But his downfall came not in the cage, but on the scale. At UFC 319, Battle showed up 4 pounds overweight at middleweight. That's 190 pounds, when the non-title limit is 86. And this wasn't his first time. He'd already missed weight multiple times at welterweight, which forced him to move up in the first place. The UFC gave him a chance to fix it, but when he blew weight again at middleweight, it was the final straw. For the promotion, it didn't matter how talented he was. Missing weight repeatedly is unprofessional, and unprofessional fighters don't last. The cut sent a loud message to the rest of the roster. Talent won't save you if you can't make weight, no matter how good you are inside the octagon. If you can't get there prepared, your career can vanish overnight. While Battle was facing the end of his UFC career, another fighter was facing something far more serious, the fight for his life. Ben Askren, former UFC fighter and Olympic wrestler, shared a shocking health update. He revealed that he underwent a double lung transplant, a procedure so risky that most people don't recover. Askren admitted his heart stopped for 20 seconds, not once but 4 different times during the process. He even lost nearly 5 weeks of memory, waking up with no idea what had happened. But somehow, he pulled through. Askren is now back home, already walking without a walker, and even joking with fans about bragging when he shares good news. For someone who made his career on toughness and grit, this has become his most inspiring fight yet. Fans who once loved or hated his style are now united, rooting for him as he battles to rebuild his life. It's a reminder that sometimes the toughest victories don't come inside the cage. They come in the fight for survival. But while Askren was fighting for his health, Diaz was busy fighting with words, and this time his target was Khamzat Chimaev. Diaz criticized Chimaev's performance against Dricus Du Plessis, claiming he fought scared. According to Nate, Chimaev had dominant ground positions, but instead of going for damage, he played it safe, landing what Diaz called weak punches. To Diaz, that was proof of fear. He even called Chimaev a scared child, clinging to control instead of risking offense. The comments lit up social media. Some fans agreed, saying Khamzat looked cautious. Others argued it was smart strategy. Control your opponent, win the fight, don't take unnecessary risks. Either way, Diaz struck a nerve, adding fuel to the debate. Is Khamzat still the terrifying monster fans believed? Or is he starting to play it safe? And if all that wasn't enough, the MMA world gave us even more headlines this week. Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier reignited their rivalry after DC left Jones off his Mount Rushmore, citing failed drug tests. Jones fired back, reminding everyone of his achievements and saying DC can't tell his story without mentioning him. Aljamain Sterling is preparing to face Brian Ortega, promising to show off improved striking and prove he's more than just a grappler. Bilal Muhammad doubled down on wanting Kamaru Usman, saying that's the fight he needs to cement his legacy. And in a rare feel-good moment, Max Holloway gifted Dustin Poirier the gloves he wore at UFC 318. Poirier revealed he'll be auctioning them off for charity through his Good Fight Foundation to help families in Hawaii. From rivalries to charity to career-altering suspensions, this week had it all. But at the center of it all, one story stood above the rest. Sean Strickland suspended. So now I want to hear from you. Was the Nevada Commission too harsh on Sean Strickland, or did he deserve the suspension? And what about Nate Diaz's comments? Was Khamzat fighting scared, or just fighting smart? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'll be checking them out and replying. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest MMA updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next round.